Good day, this is News Compact, reaching you from Wizards World Television News. I am Olusola Iyanuoluwa. First headlines. President Tinubu establishes Ebola task force, approves 10 billion naira for emergency preparedness. House of Representatives summon security chiefs over worsening insecurity. Senate questions Southeast Development Commission over 16 billion naira budget. IG promises rescue of ORIIRÈ kidnap victims, orders action on unplated vehicles. Nigeria signals possible diplomatic action over tension in South Africa. Now the news in details. President Bola Tinubu has approved the establishment of a presidential task force on Ebola virus disease preparedness and emerging public health threats as Nigeria steps up efforts to prevent a possible outbreak. The development comes amid renewed Ebola concerns in parts of East and Central Africa, prompting health authorities to strengthen surveillance and emergency response measures across the country. On June 9, the President also approved the immediate release of 10 billion naira to boost national preparedness, strengthen disease surveillance, improve laboratory readiness, and support rapid response operations. The task force is expected to coordinate preparedness efforts among relevant government agencies and ensure the country remains ready to respond to any potential public health threats. Meanwhile, the Federal Ministry of Health and the Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention have maintained that there is currently no confirmed case of Ebola in Nigeria. In Abuja, the House of Representatives has summoned Nigeria's top security officials over the rising wave of insecurity across the country. The motion was considered on Tuesday, 9th of June 2026, amid growing concerns over bandit attacks, kidnappings, and other violent incidents in several parts of the country. The proposal was presented by Honorable Suleiman Gumi, who warned that the security situation has become increasingly critical and requires urgent national attention.
The new service chiefs, we have never interacted with them. We don't know even what they are doing.
The current security architecture appears overwhelmed, reactive, and unable to deal with the overwhelming need for the security of our citizens.
Following the deliberation, the House directed the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, along with the Chief of Defense Staff and the service chiefs of the Army, Navy, and Air Force to appear before lawmakers for a comprehensive briefing.
The House summons the Minister of Defense, the National Security Advisor, the Minister of Finance, the service chiefs, the IGP, the DGNSS and NIA in a closed-door session to know the releases to them in the last 6 months by the Ministry of Finance and to know why they have not been able to achieve as much as expected from Nigerians.
Lawmakers say the meeting is intended to assess current security operations, evaluate intelligence response, and address ongoing gaps in coordination across security agencies. The House also referenced recent cases of adoption and attacks in several communities as part of the reason for the urgent summon. And now to the National Assembly. The Senate Committee on the Southeast Development Commission has questioned the leadership of the Commission over its 16.6 billion naira budget performance during an oversight session in Abuja. The session, chaired by Senator Orji Uzor Kalu, focused on detailed review of the expenditure records, project implementation plans, and justification of major cost items presented by the Commission. Lawmakers expressed concerns over several budget components, including administrative expenses and expenditure items that were not fully backed with clear documentation, and demanded stronger justification for the figures presented. In response, the Managing Director of the Commission, Mark Okoye, defended the budget structure and explained how the funds were being applied to ongoing development activities across the Southeast. However, senators insisted that the explanation provided were not sufficient, directing the Commission to submit full documentary evidence, including project records, contracts, and detailed spending breakdowns for further scrutiny. The committee also issued a directive requiring the Commission to return with the requested documents within a limited time frame before further legislative consideration. In Oyo State, the Inspector General of Police has assured that efforts are ongoing to rescue victims of the ORIIRÈ kidnapping incident. Police authorities say tactical teams have been deployed with operations focused on intelligence-led tracking of the suspects and coordinated search efforts across the area.
That the full operational capacity of the force, in coordination with sister agencies, has committed to securing their return safely.
The assurance follows public concerns over the adoption, with security agencies maintaining that the safe recovery of the victims remain a priority. The Inspector General has also ordered strict action against vehicles operating without number plates, warning that such vehicles are often used to aid criminal activity.
Every vehicle operating on our roads must be properly registered and must display its approved registration number in accordance with the law. Any vehicle found without number plates or with deliberate, obscured, concealed, or tampered registration number will be stopped, impounded, and subjected to the appropriate legal process.
Security operatives have been directed to intensify road checks and impound any unregistered or improperly identified vehicles for investigation. Authorities say the move is aimed at improving security monitoring and reducing opportunities for criminal movement. In South Africa, renewed protests and tensions involving immigration have drawn diplomatic attention from Nigeria following reports of the public demonstrations and concerns over the treatment of foreign nationals, including Nigerians. Speaking on the development, the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Bianca Odumego Ojukwu, warned that Nigeria may be considering possible retaliatory diplomatic measures if the situation continues. The minister voiced Nigeria's displeasure over the treatment of its citizens, arguing that the actions being directed at Black African migrants were particularly troubling, given Nigeria's historic role in supporting South Africa's struggle against apartheid.
Nigeria is not happy because Nigeria has sacrificed much for the South African struggle for independence. Nigeria sacrificed quite a lot, committed funds, committed resources to aid South Africa. In schools, seats were reserved for South African students. My own generation, we carried placards. We demonstrated in front of South African assets.
The minister decried the maltreatment of Nigerians in South Africa and the failure of the South African police to take appropriate action.
Their properties are being looted. Criminal actions are perpetuated on our citizens. The police refuse to do anything. The South African government has not come out strongly, firmly enough to condemn these incidents. So our citizens are imperiled. They are in distress. So they cannot be said to be illegal migrants. People who are doing legitimate business have their shops looted. They have their shops set on fire. Children cannot go to school because they are intimidated in their schools.
Nigerian authorities have condemned the development, warning against the targeting of African migrants and calling for protection of Nigerians living and working in South Africa. The federal government has also engaged South African authorities through diplomatic channels while monitoring the situation closely. As tensions persist, the government has begun arrangement for the voluntary repatriation of Nigerians wishing to return home. More than 1,000 Nigerians are expected to benefit from the program following the registration and screening exercise coordinated by the Nigerian High Commission in Pretoria. That will be all on News Compact for today. For more updates, do visit our website at www.rulersworldtelevision.com. Do visit our social media handle, RulersWorld TV, and do follow us on all our social media pages, X, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all at Rulersworld Television. Once again, I am Olusola Iyanuoluwa. Thanks for watching.